Hello, everyone, and welcome back to F1 Live on Instagram Live. It is Thursday. I'm not sure what week it is, but welcome back. Welcome to, as I said, another F1 Live, another Instagram Live, where we will be having another F1 driver along to answer your questions. So get your questions coming at the bottom there. You've been so good over these last few interviews, sending in some really interesting questions, and we've loved reading them all and putting them to the drivers. One guy, though, I know you all want to hear from. I know how much you want to ask him your questions and see how he's doing. We've heard a lot from him, obviously, already over these last few weeks, and it's Mr. Lando Norris, who's in his garden.
I am.
How are you?
Look at it. I'm enjoying magical sunshine in England.
It's incredibly rare we get sunshine in the UK.
It's very nice. I'm just out here. I'm doing some training, trying to keep fit in whatever way. But in my garden, doing some training in the lovely sunshine.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. We've seen so much of you these last few weeks. Esports. You seem to have made the most out of this break.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy, really. Although it's there's not a lot of things to get up to nowadays. While in this break, but at the same time, I've been busy with obviously predominantly the sim racing stuff. Doing the F1 esports races, the virtual GPs, not the virtual GPs, whatever race I can do on iRacing and on F1, I've pretty much been doing. But it was what I was doing before. It's not something which is new to me. It's something I started doing years and years ago, and now I just get to do it pretty much all day. So no, it's been good fun. Although it's not normal, and there's better things I would still like to do, which is go back to normal racing. Is still one of the the second most enjoyable thing that I like to do.
Is it quite strange that this thing that you've been doing for a number of years now has suddenly become the thing that everyone's doing because it's the only way that people can go racing?
Kind of like yeah, it is. Seeing not everyone, but I reckon a large proportion of racing drivers, not just from F1 or Formula E, but all categories: GT, GT3, Le Mans, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 4. It's like it was going up slightly, sim racing and esports and stuff, but this situation we're in has just made it skyrocket completely. And I was racing some people before, but now I get to race against the same drivers I race on the actual racetrack, and we get to do it on the F1 game, and we still get to have a lot of fun together. And I know it's weird, it's different, but it's more relaxed, obviously, because we're all in the Discord or chatting together, which is the opposite of a normal race. You're all just speaking to your own race engineers in a race, and it's super serious, whereas this is a lot more like just relaxed and fun, and you can take the mick out of each other a lot more. So it's different, but it's cool, and I think it's good for not only us, but for you guys and the fans and everyone to watch all of us carry on racing and having fun.
It's lovely actually hearing you guys talking to each other while you're racing. Do you wish we could do that, like, for real? Would you talk to each other in Grand Prix?
I don't know if we would, because there's still times when we get very silent. Like you hear us in practice, and we'll be like, you won't hear anyone stop talking, and you just wish everyone shut up. And then we go into qualifying, absolute silence.
Yeah.
No one says anything. And that's obviously the situation you get into when you start taking things seriously, and we all want to beat each other. And then that's our little mode that we go into, is silent, kind of mute everyone, and then you try and do the best job you can. So I don't know what it would be like if we actually did it in F1, if we were able to talk to each other. The thing is, you just go into a corner, and as soon as he's about to turn in, you just scream in his ear or something, and you try and make him crash or something. So I don't know if that would be necessarily a good idea, but it should be more open, for everyone. Well, it is open now, but for everyone to be able to hear what goes on behind the scenes and talking to our engineers and everything. Like with the F1 TV, you get to tune into the different drivers and hear what they're saying and hear a bit more about what actually goes on, not just the ones which are shown on the actual TV. So it's it's good that it's kind of opening up more into that side of things, and people get to hear more of what goes on.
Has it surprised you how many drivers have taken it up? And actually, which drivers have surprised you, either through being really competitive or not being very competitive at all?
I mean, it has surprised me how many people have joined, especially the F1 drivers. I didn't think as many would have joined, and are continuing to join. You obviously still have some which haven't joined, such as Lewis and Seb. I mean, I saw Lewis got a simulator and so on, but not everyone has the equipment, and some are only like just getting stuff to be able to race, such as Roman, who got a sim a week ago or something, or a few days ago. So. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was prepared for this situation, but I had a backup, and I was very easily able to switch to it. But not a lot of other people were, and everyone's kind of getting simulators, and even MotoGP riders, footballers. A lot of them are also enjoying coming and trying the F1 stuff and racing with us. So that's also good to see. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised about how many people have kind of got onto it. But in the end of the day, we're racing drivers. We love to race. So if we can't race on the actual track, and we're stuck at home for so long, then it's the only other option for all of us to do.
Now, obviously, it's not exactly the same as the cars you're used to driving. There is a little bit of difference. You've got to get used to it, but it does free up you drivers from any championship to go and race anywhere, doing anything. Mm-hmm. And you've been practicing IndyCar at COTA, and those laps I was watching them yesterday. They were quiet. While you were,
they were. I was in the zone. It was like one of the first proper sessions, because I had Jav, who is now living in America. So Jav is no longer effectively my actual performance engineer anymore. So he's over in America with McLaren Arrow SP, and so I get to kind of talk to him. And it was weird because, I wouldn't have thought last year after him leaving, I'd be, doing engineering stuff with him virtually on iRacing. So it was weird. And he's got all my live timing, my sector times. He's looking at all my data. He's just sent me a report from all of my data saying, in exactly the same way as how we did it last year at the actual racetrack, which corners I need to focus on, how I need to focus on them. And, if I open up a report from last year versus this one, it's like exactly the same.
Oh,
so
man.
It's really cool. And when you take it seriously like that, which is why I was quiet, is because, I'm with Jav, and you try to take it a bit more seriously. And it's also, in the end of the day, it's a good opportunity for me to learn still and work on things, and not just to have fun, but still try and improve as a driver myself. So, that's also why we kind of try to bring Jav into it, and work together with the other drivers. There'll be another session tonight, preparing for the race. So
you are racing. You're going to race COTA with IndyCar.
I am actually doing the race on Saturday. So
awesome.
Yeah, I need to get up the pace. I need to up the pace a bit more. I think there's some very quick drivers. Some of the guys who have done all the races so far, like Will Power, McLaughlin, I think, was doing them.
McLaughlin's been a shock, right? He's
freaking fast. Yeah,
he's super quick. Really quick.
Especially in the V8 stuff. Obviously, they've been doing the V8 races as well.
Yeah.
And that car is not easy to drive one little bit. It's one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. The V8 supercar, I've never driven in real life, but on the simulators, it's amazing. But it's just very tricky with all the heel and towing, the blipping, the clutch work. It's just very different to Formula One, basically, and having a lot of downforce and carrying a lot of minimum speed. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, seeing these drivers from other categories, such as V8s or something, and then swapping into these other cars, being able to race against drivers they wouldn't ordinarily race against, or we get to race against. That's also really cool, because everyone kind of comes together more and isn't in all these different categories. So it's that's one of the other really cool aspects about it.
Would you do the 500, the Indy 500?
What I do? I would. I think I've actually been doing a bit of oval races.
Cool.
On iRacing. So there's a lot of oval stuff, and I've been doing it in IndyCar with it. It's a fixed setup for everyone.
Because you're never going to get to do it in real life, because for as long as you're in Formula One, because it's always on the Monaco weekend.
Exactly. So virtually, 100%, I'll be down to do it. and a lot of thousands of people do it on iRacing. So it's very tough, and you have to be changing the same as real life. You've got to change the roll bars throughout the corners from one lap to another, the roll jacker or whatever it is. Yeah, there's so many things to be changing. So
Wow.
It's cool how similar it is and how many things are replicated from one to another. But of course, Indy 500 is a complete contrast to racing in Formula One, and therefore I would love to do it.
Brilliant. That's a great answer. And don't forget, for COTA this weekend, you don't have to brake at turn 19. They just run.
Yeah, I know. They're straight off. Yeah, I'll see if I can get away with it.
Oh, you definitely can. You definitely can. I want to go through some videos before we take some questions from the fans. You're wearing your cap because, of course, this happened. There it is.
It's here.
You see, I thought you were going to...
Look at it. It's awful.
I thought you were going to...
I got some really long bits behind my ears that I couldn't get to very well with the...
No, are you joking? Oh my goodness.
I mean, I can't see that, can I?
Yeah, but like, what clippers did you use?
Well, I just bought some on Amazon. I think it was like more of a shaver, like a...
Because they look more like...
shaver.
Well, they look like kind of like manscaping thing.
Yeah, I think it was. That's why it took so long for me to do it. But no, it's just very sunny. That's why I got it on.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it either.
You should go shorter. Like just.
I like having long hair, to be honest.
Wet shave the whole thing.
Wet shave the whole thing.
Just go completely bald.
I'm happy I took the risk of even doing this. I'm happy I went this far already.
And you raised a lot of money. You raised so much money for charity as well. You've been doing an awful lot of charity work over these last few weeks.
I have been, and it's been very enjoyable. Obviously, we had the F1 stuff that we were doing between some of the F1 drivers, Nicholas, Charles, Alex, George, myself, probably some other people I should name. And we managed to raise around 75,000 altogether. Personally, I raised 25,000 from that one. I raised another 12,000 from my hair one. So I think altogether, and I did one other one where I managed to raise something like 11,000. So altogether, I managed to raise something like 40,000.
That's great.
I'm really happy with. Yeah. I'm still doing something productive with my time at home. Trying to give something back because I'm so fortunate. I'm in the position I'm in, and I have a nice garden that I can come and do stuff in, and other people don't, and are in much worse situations than I am. So, yeah, I'm trying to do my part to give a little bit back.
Now you have got a nice garden, and you're making use of it, and you have raised some money. Not quite as much though as this chap. For folks outside the UK who probably don't know him, explain what's going on here.
So this gentleman is an absolute hero. His 100th birthday is coming up on the 30th of this month, and for charity, he said he was going to walk 100 laps of his garden, and try and raise money for charity. And
he wanted to raise £1,000, right? It was like